Welcome back to Cynthia Untamed. This is your youthful and educational channel where we have conversations with and about children and young people in Africa, and we aim to inspire the current generation of leaders across the continent. You are most welcome to Cynthia Untamed, and remember to tell a friend to tell a friend. Our session today will be focusing on how you can become a lawyer in Kenya. I'm going to talk about all the tips, what you need, what documentation you need, what qualifications you need. And I am majorly doing this because I just realized that the career guidance system in Kenya is sort of broken, and a lot of young people don't have the right information, especially when they want to study law at the university. So if you want to know how you can study law, how you can become a lawyer in Kenya, then this is the channel for you. Also, do make sure to check out my other video where I was talking about how you can succeed at the undergraduate level while you are pursuing your LLB, which is in full the Bachelor of Laws degree. So let's get right into it. As we do this, I will be referring to my laptop here because I want to give you the right information as much as I can. Please also make sure to do your own research and get all the information that you need. Talk to people, send me an email, send me a text on Instagram or any of my social media platforms, and I'll try and answer you as much as I can. So let's go. Very important for you to note is that a Bachelor of Laws degree is abbreviated as LL.B, also known as LLV, refers to Legum Baccalares, and you are studying different laws of the world, experiencing and interacting with different case laws across the world, hence the Bachelor of Laws in plural. So you need to note that. The other thing you need to understand is that there's a difference between being a lawyer and an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. So a lawyer is just someone who has the law degree, who's undergone the Bachelor of Laws degree for 4 years, but has not undergone the advocates training program at the Kenya School of Law. Once you undergo the advocates training program, then you are referred to as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. So what are the different ways that you who wants to be a lawyer in Kenya can get into the profession? So the first thing you need to do is, of course, do your degree. Now, to do the degree, there are different avenues. You can either go through the government-sponsored program. Number two, if you do not qualify for the government-sponsored program, you can go through the self-sponsored program, also known as the parallel program or the module 2 program. The third option is for you to go to a foreign university and return to Kenya and go to the Kenya School of Law. So let's go step by step. If you are in Kenya and you've sat for your Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education, the government uses a certain formula to calculate whether you are qualified, and it uses a system known as cluster points. So cluster points in law are calculated from about 4 subjects. The first subject that will be calculated will be either English or Kiswahili languages. The second option is mathematics, so you must do well in mathematics even if you want to be a lawyer. The third subject is a humanity, so this could be geography, history, or CRE. 1 is enough. You can do the 3, but 1 is enough. And the other option is the sciences, so biology, physics, or chemistry. One of those subjects is selected, the one where you've performed the best. And also remember, you must attain a very high grade that enables you to be one of the best students in the country so that the government selects you, because the slots are very few. The other thing you need to note is that the different universities have different cluster points. So when I was joining the University of Nairobi had the highest cluster points at the time. And I'm talking specifically about public universities, Public universities have different cluster points, so you need to ensure that you meet at least the minimum for one of those universities that is accredited by the Council of Legal Education. Also be sure that you're going to a university that is accredited by the Council of Legal Education. I can tell you for sure, University of Nairobi, Kenyatta University are accredited by the government, so no need to worry if you go to either of them. Now, what happens if you have done well but you've not qualified to study law through the government-sponsored program? That's when you will pursue the self-sponsored program. And when you go to the Kenya School of Law the Kenya School of Law, the Kenya School of Law Act number 26 of 2012 outlines what you need to have for you to go to the Kenya School of Law. Remember, I've told you that for you to go to the Kenya School of Law, you must have attained some minimum grades. Otherwise, you will not be able to be an advocate, even if you have done the LLB program. So let's scroll down to the second schedule of the Kenya School of Law Act. It will show you that the admission requirements to the Kenya School of Law to undertake the advocate training program will be as follows. A person shall be admitted to the school if, having passed the relevant examination of any recognized university in Kenya, or of any university college, or other institution prescribed by the council, holds or becomes eligible for the conferment of the Bachelor of Laws degree of that university college, or institution. That's why I have told you, wherever it is that you choose to study, whether it is a public university or a private university in Kenya or a university abroad, ensure that it is approved by the Council of Legal Education in Kenya. That is the most important thing you need to understand. Then you must also have passed those exams, so you cannot go to the Kenya School of Law without a pass, a minimum of a pass, but of course aim for a first class. Then you must have attained a minimum entry requirement for admission to a university in Kenya. Remember, for you to attain admission to a university in Kenya, you must have a minimum of a C+. Further, you must have obtained a minimum grade of a B plain in English or Kiswahili, and a mean grade of C+ in the KCSE. That is very important for you to note. Please do not undertake a Bachelor of Laws degree program if you have not met these requirements. Otherwise, in the future, you will have so many problems. You would rather go back to high school and redo KCSE for you to have the right certification for you to do that degree. Then when you look at the act, there's also the provision where you must have sat the pre-bar examination set by the school. However, there have been many cases that have been taken to court where it was ascertained that only the people who did not attain a minimum of a B plain in English are the ones who are supposed to do pre-bar, as well as those who've gone to universities abroad. However, if you have a B plain in English and you've passed your degree, then you are eligible to go to the Kenya School of Law without having to go through the pre-bar examination. So that is the other route that you need to be aware of. So what happens if you want to go study abroad? I remember for us, when we wanted to do law abroad, our teachers would just say, no, don't go abroad. But when we would ask, they would tell us it's just not a good idea, but they never used to tell us why. Now, I'm going to tell you why, so that by the time you go abroad, you are aware. Why am I going abroad? Is this what I really want? Am I ready to go through the process so that I can still be a practicing advocate of the High Court in Kenya? Now, remember, I have told you that the university you go to must be approved by the Council of Legal Education. So from my experience, if you were to go study abroad, I just recommend go to London School of Economics and Political Science, go to University of Kent, go to those big universities that are recognized, so that when you come here, you won't be told, but that school, we don't even know it, you see. However, if you go to, let's assume that you've gone to the London School of Economics and pursued your LLB and you have passed, keeping in mind that you must also have attained the grades that are required here in Kenya. That also applies to if you went to the IGCSE system here in Kenya. You must have pursued your IGCSE up to the A level. And this is a mistake that some people have been making, is that, IGCSE has O level and A level. So some of those people pursue IGCSE up to the O level and equate it to the Kenyan system, which goes up to the O level. And then what happens when you try to go to the Kenya School of Law? You are told that you did not finish high school. So if you are in the British system, you can still be a lawyer in Kenya. Just make sure you pursue your schoolwork, your IGCSE up to the A level, and ensure that you go to the university without any shortcuts. There are no shortcuts in this profession, trust me, unless you want to study something else. So if you go to the London School of Economics, for example, and return to Kenya, you will be required by the Council of Legal Education to undergo a program known as Pre-Kenya School of Law, which is normally done at Riara University. I do not know any other institution that is offering the Pre-Kenya School of Law program. Now, why is this the case? The Council of Legal Education requires that by the time you are going to study at the Kenya School of Law, that you must have undergone certain units that are compulsory. These are known as core units. There are 16 of them. The 16 of them, I'm just trying to look for that list that outlines all the subjects that you are required to do by the time you are going to the Kenya School of Law. And if you go and study abroad, it means that you will not have done these units. Yes, you will have done a good program at the London School of Economics, University of Kent, or wherever it is that you will have gone to, but they will say that your education system has to be aligned to the Kenyan education system. Now, majority of these units are taught at your first year of the university, first year or second year of the university. I believe it's only one or two that might be taught in third year, depending on the university you go to. So I was looking at the Riara University website, and it outlines that you must have done legal systems and methods. You must have done family law and succession. Let me read them for you. They're here. So you must have done criminal law, you must have done evidence, you must have done administrative law, legal systems and methods, public international law, jurisprudence, communication skills, torts, equity and trust, property law. Yeah, if you check out the Riara University website, you'll be able to see all the units that are required. So that is what is going to happen. And according to the Riara University website, it will take you about 6 months for you to complete. And depending on when you join, it will take up to a year. So make sure you do your relevant research. Now, only after you've done the program at the Riara University, will you then be allowed to apply to the Kenya School of Law. And I'm telling you this because when you're applying to the Kenya School of Law and you're filling that form, you'll be required to mark and say, I did this unit and I did this unit, and also attach your transcripts. So if you try to take a shortcut, trust me, they're very thorough and they're going to check. And even after you've been offered an admission letter at the Kenya School of Law, when they're verifying your documents, they will still check whether you did those 16 core subjects. So make a very wise decision and ask yourself, do I want to do a Bachelor of Laws degree and return to Kenya and pursue 6 months or so of legal training at Riara University before I go to the Kenya School of Law, or not? If that's what you want to do, trust me, it's very possible you can still do it. I will leave a link to another channel that I saw. She's called Kylie Ochodo, and she went through the IGCSE system, and she explains how she went to University of Kent, then went to Riara University, then returned to pursue her Master of Laws at the London School of Economics, and she has outlined it very well, and she will be able to explain to you how that other system works. So just be very sure what exactly it is that you want. The other thing that is very important is for you to decide what kind of a school do I want to go to. As for me, I just knew I wanted to go to the University of Nairobi, but you might want to go to other schools you might want to explore. I will leave a link to a lady, she's called Glynis Minor, and she was talking about the step-by-step process she undertook to choose her university at JKUAT Karen, and she talked about how she went for a visit at University of Nairobi, went to Kabarak, eventually settled on JKUAT. So that will really help you. But if you're set on University of Nairobi, or if you're set on Strathmore, of course, then you will have to ask them what is it that is required of me to join this university. So do your research, be very open-minded, and just be ready. As for the government, if you are placed at the University of Nairobi, then I highly doubt you'd want now to transfer and go to Kisii University, for example. You just want to go where the government has placed you if you are doing the course that you want to do. So what happens if you still want to be in the legal profession and you do not meet these requirements that I talked about. You do not meet the B plane in English, and you do not have the C plus. So the Kenya School of Law also has a program known as a paralegal training. It's like a diploma in law, and you can instead now undertake that program and just do it and get into the legal profession if that's what you really want. And the Kenya School of Law Act requires that for you to be admitted into the paralegal program, you must have a mean grade of C plane in the KCSE, C plane in KCSE, or equivalent examination. So for you to know whether it's an equivalent examination, I believe you must go to the Kenya National Equations Commission. I will leave the name over here. You'll have to go there, and they'll be the ones to determine whether your grades can be equated. You must also have a minimum grade of C plus in English. So a minimum of a C plane in KCSE overall grade and a C plus in English. So make sure that you look at it, and you look at it keenly. If you are from the older generation and you did the Kenya Advanced Certificate of Education, you must have at least one principal pass. Yes, so that's very important for you to note. If you do not qualify for the degree program, you can still do the paralegal program. Now, the good thing with the legal profession is that it does not discriminate anyone. Even if you are a teacher and you've now decided to be a lawyer, you are qualified to do this program as long as you meet the requirements. So if you want to change careers, it's open to you. If you've done engineering, for example, you're an engineer and you're like, I've really come across so many issues in the legal space, and I'd really like to inform myself more, but I don't want to go through the whole LLB program. You can still do the paralegal program as long as you meet the requirements. That is the best part. Then also another thing you need to note about pursuing law in Kenya is that there is no shortcut. I know for some courses, for example, if you do a diploma in that course, then when you go to do a degree, you'll be exempted from certain units. In Kenya, in law, there is nothing like that. There is no shortcut for you to pursue a Bachelor of Laws degree. Even if you have a PhD in astronomy, you will still have to start from first year and pursue your Bachelor of Laws degree. There is no shortcut at all. Please do not even try, because you will not succeed in taking any shortcuts. That's very important for you to note. Okay, so we've talked about how you can join the university, pursue a Bachelor of Laws degree, either through a government-sponsored program, a self-sponsored program, or what happens if you decide to go and study abroad for your degree. What happens when you return? Now, there's another category of people who go to university and have not met the requirements of the Kenya School of Law, which, like I said, is a B plane in English. So what happens to you? These people are subjected to something known as the pre-bar examination. And when you look at the Council of Legal Education Cap 16A, it says, this is Cap 16A of 2009, it says that a pre-bar examination shall be administered to students who hold a Bachelor of Laws degree from a recognized university but do not qualify for direct admissions under these regulations. The pre-bar examination shall test the mastery of legal techniques, legal writing, substantive legal principles at the degree subject level, and proficiency in English. The pre-bar examination shall consist of 3-hour examination in each of the following courses. 1. Legal methods, systems and constitutional law, the law of contract, the law of torts, land law, family law and succession, commercial law, which shall include aspects of business associations. A student shall sit and pass examination papers in all courses undertaken to qualify for admission to the advocates training program. Now, that is very tricky in as much as it is provided for here. This particular segment of the law, this particular chapter of the law has actually been revoked. However, it is still being used as a transition in the legal reform education system. So that is why it is very tricky. If you do not meet these requirements, you would rather just go back to high school and just do KCSE again. Because when you look at the Kenya School of Law Act Training Program Regulations of 2015, it clearly states that the Council of Legal Education Kenya School of Law Regulations 2009, which is Cap 16, are hereby revoked. However, it provides for transitional provisions where it says, despite the revocation of the Council of Legal Education KSL Regulations 2009, any act, thing, or decision pending under the Council of Legal Education's Kenya Regulations 2009 shall be continued or concluded as if the act or thing was done or decision made under these regulations. The reason why I'm saying it's very tricky for you to go to the university and you've not had a B plane in English and do LLB is because at some point you may be caught in the middle of this transition and you will not be able to go to the Kenya School of Law. As of now, there are people who did not attain the B plane in English and have been able to do the pre-bar as advertised by the Kenya School of Law, are requiring people to do the pre-bar examination. But like I said, this is transitional. Transitional means that you are transitioning. So there are many things that they are trying to reform in the legal education sector, and it means that at some point you might be caught in the middle. That's why it's very, very tricky. So just be very, very careful. Don't take a risk. You would rather redo KCSE and get what is required for you to do an LLB program, so that as you keep moving forward, trying to be an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, going to the Kenya School of Law, you will not have any trouble. That's why it's very, please note this is a very important provision for you to note. My advice to you is that if you really want to study law abroad and you want to come back and practice in Kenya, please go to a Commonwealth country. Go to the UK, especially especially England. Go to London School of Economics and such. I'm just recommending LSE because it's LSE. Go to Oxford, go to those schools. Go to Australia. Australia is also good. Just don't go to a place that will not be recognized by Kenya. If you want to go study abroad, I repeat, consult with the Council of Legal Education. Be sure that the school you are selecting to go to is recognized by the Council of Legal Education, and then you can go and study abroad and return to Kenya and go through the whole process. Alternatively, if you want to practice there, that is also an option, I believe, for you, but I'm really addressing anyone who wants to come back to Kenya. Another point to note that is often not told to high school students or anyone who wants to pursue law later on in their life, you've done something else and now you feel that I want to pursue law, is that the Commonwealth system means that law is a first degree. What is a first degree? It means that when you are fresh out of high school is when you can do law. So you do your Bachelor of Laws degree, then you do your Master of Laws degree, and then you do your doctorate in law. However, in the American system, which is why when you are in high school, if you remember, or if you are in high school, you may be told that no, you cannot go to America to study law, but sometimes they just don't tell you. In America, law is not a first degree. What do I mean by this? In American system, there is nothing known as Bachelor of Laws degree. In America, if you want to do law, it means that you must do maybe another degree, like let's say English or education, just something else pre-med at your undergrad degree. Then you do a Master of Laws. However, in America, there are two types of masters. There is a master's that is done by American citizens, and then there is a master's that is done by foreigners like me. So for example, if I wanted to go to Harvard to do my master's in law, to do a master's in law, which is LLM, it would mean that I must have done Bachelor of Laws in Kenya, then go to America to Harvard or Columbia and do Master of Laws. I cannot be allowed to go and do Master of Laws if I did Bachelor of Education, Bachelor of Medicine and Surgery, or any education at my undergrad, and I want to go and do Master of Laws in America. That is not possible because I am not an American citizen. So that is something you need to note. People who do law at a master's level, when they didn't do international, you must, when they didn't do Bachelor of Laws at undergrad, you must interrogate and find out whether it is actually law, because you might find that maybe it's master in business law, but it's not really the law that is usually done for the legal education. It's more of a general program that enables professionals to understand different areas of law. So do your research and make sure that you are getting into the right program, especially if you are a student who is here in Kenya or a student who is here in Africa, because I believe depending on the country you're in, anywhere here in Africa, you'll find that the regulations are nearly the same. So be very careful, choose wisely, and go forth and conquer and do what you need to do to pursue your dreams. In as much as the Kenya University Central Placement Service System, while calculating your marks, will say that they will either count English or Kiswahili to see if you are qualified to study law. Why is it that I'm really insisting on English? Because fine, the government will calculate either English or Kiswahili. But here's the reality of the situation, that if you do not qualify for the government-sponsored program, when you try to apply for a parallel program, they will specifically look at English. Specifically look at English, because English is the language of instruction of the legal education. So even if you score an A in Kiswahili and you fail in English, you fail to get a B plain and above in English, it is very unlikely that you will be accepted to do this degree. So do not risk. Make sure you do very well in both languages. English is the primary language that they will look at when you try to pursue a parallel program. And even when you go to register or apply to the Kenya School of Law, they will specifically look at English, specifically because of those reasons. So don't even risk English. Don't risk any of the languages. Now, in as much as the Act also provides that it's either English or Kiswahili, it is very unlikely that if you do not do well in either English or Kiswahili, that the government will place you in a law program. That is the reality of the situation. Yes, they say either English or Kiswahili, but how we say it in Kiswahili is kwa ground vitu ni different. The reality will hit you differently. So make sure you do well in both languages, both English, both Kiswahili, and especially English. In reality, especially English. Please make sure you do that. Another mistake that people make is, in Kenya, I do not know about other systems across the world or across Africa, there is something called bridging. Now, bridging means that, let's say, for example, you needed to have gotten a B in English, but you got a C+. So what you decide to do is you go to an institution that offers bridging services. This means that they will teach you again and make you do an exam that will then be equated and to that KCC level. And maybe let's say you do the bridging program for a year, I don't know how long it takes, then you get an A in English, and then you say, now I will apply to the University of Nairobi, to Strathmore University, to do law. That is a very, very grave mistake. Do not do that. Do not bridge the languages. You either have the option of doing paralegal program, or you have the option of returning to high school and doing KCSE again. Why? To avoid problems in the future. So try and remedy the situation now without bridging at all. Do not bridge. I repeat, do not bridge at all. And this is not just for English. Do not bridge any of the subjects if you want to do law. It's going to bring you a problem in the future. I really hope that this video was as informative as possible. This will help you to understand and make the important decisions that you need to make as you try and get into the legal sphere, the legal career, and we'll keep talking about this even as we move forward. Please let me know if you have any questions. You can send me a DM on Instagram at CynthiaOprah_Nyongesa, on Twitter at Cynthia_Oprah, Cynthia Nyongesa on LinkedIn. Do also check out my digital platform where I amplify the stories of young change makers in Africa, called CynthiaUntamed.com. Please share your experiences as well, studying law in Kenya or studying law abroad, whether you are a citizen of a Commonwealth country or you are a citizen of another system like America or something else. Please leave your comment in the comment section below, and we'll keep seeing each other in the next video. Bye.